Charlie Chaplin was born a long time ago in London, a big city in England. He came from a poor family. His family didn't have a lot of money, and they had to work very hard just to get by. But even though they didn't have much, Charlie's family always found a way to enjoy life. They loved music, laughter, and the arts. These things made Charlie very happy, and from a young age, he dreamed of one day becoming a performer. Charlie's mother was a singer and his father was an actor. They weren't famous, but they loved what they did. They passed this love for music and performance on to Charlie. As a young boy, Charlie loved to make people laugh. He would put on small shows for his family. He made up songs and dances and even turned everyday objects into funny characters. For example, he would pretend a spoon was a person or use a tablecloth as a cape. His family always loved watching him perform, and they encouraged him to keep dreaming big. But life wasn't always easy for Charlie. His family didn't have enough money to live in a big house. They lived in a small, crowded place, and sometimes it was hard to find enough food to eat. Charlie's father left when he was very young, and his mother became sick, which made things even harder. Despite the challenges, Charlie never lost his dream of becoming a performer. When Charlie was older, he started to perform on the streets of London. He would stand in busy areas and try to make people laugh in exchange for coins. Some days people watched and clapped for him, but other days they just walked past. Even though it was hard, Charlie didn't give up. He knew that if he wanted to become a great performer, he had to keep trying. One day, while performing in the streets, a man who worked in a theater saw Charlie's performance. He was impressed by how talented Charlie was. He asked Charlie if he wanted to perform on a real stage. This was a big chance for Charlie, and he was so excited. He had always dreamed of performing in a real theater, and now it was happening. The theater was a very different place from the streets. There were scripts to learn, and Charlie had to practice very hard. He also had to wear costumes, which was something new for him. But Charlie was quick to learn. He watched the other actors carefully, and he practiced every day. Soon, he was ready for his first performance on stage. When the night of his first performance came, Charlie felt nervous, but he was also excited. He stood on the stage, facing an audience for the first time. The lights were bright, and he couldn't see everyone clearly, but he remembered his dream. He wanted to make people laugh, and he was ready to do that. As he began his performance, he made some mistakes, but the audience still laughed. He wasn't perfect, but he kept going, and he slowly started to feel more confident. By the end of the performance, the audience was clapping and cheering for him. Charlie was proud of himself. It was the moment he had always dreamed of. From then on, Charlie worked hard to keep performing. He didn't stop after his first success. He continued to perform in many theaters, traveling from town to town, and with each performance, he learned more. He didn't just want to make people laugh, he wanted to connect with them. He wanted his characters to be real to the audience, so that they could see themselves in the stories he told. But Charlie's journey wasn't easy. There were many times when he faced rejection. Not every show was a success, and there were times when he wondered if he would ever reach the top. But through all of this, Charlie never gave up. He continued to work hard, and little by little, his dream of becoming a successful performer began to come true. Charlie's love for performing never faded, and it continued to grow. He became better and better at his craft. He had big dreams, and he wanted to share his talent with as many people as possible. Eventually, his hard work would lead him to even greater opportunities in the world of cinema. But that is a story for another time. For now, we can see that Charlie Chaplin's early life was not easy, but it was full of dreams, hard work, and determination. Even though he came from a poor family, Charlie never stopped believing in himself and his ability to entertain people. His journey was just beginning, and the best was yet to come. After Charlie Chaplin's first success on stage, he continued to work hard and perform in many different theaters. He was determined to become a great actor. As he traveled from town to town, Charlie learned many things about acting and performing. He practiced every day, watching other actors and learning new tricks. Slowly, people began to notice him, and his name started to spread. As Charlie got better, he decided to try something new. He wanted to reach a bigger audience and share his performances with more people. He started to perform in films, a new form of entertainment at the time. At first, films were silent, meaning there was no talking. Charlie saw this as a chance to use his skills in a new way. He knew that without words, he could make people laugh with his body movements, facial expressions, and gestures. In the world of silent films, Charlie quickly became a star. He wasn't just any actor. He was special. Charlie had a unique way of telling stories without using words. His ability to make people laugh, cry, and feel emotions with just his actions and facial expressions was something no one had seen before. He worked hard, trying new things, and his films began to attract a lot of attention. One of the most famous characters Charlie created was the Tramp. The Tramp was a funny, kind-hearted man who always seemed to be in trouble but never lost his smile. He wore large, too big clothes with baggy pants, a small hat, and big shoes. He walked in a funny way, and even though he was poor, he never gave up. He always tried to stay positive, no matter what happened. The Tramp was different from other characters in films at that time. He wasn't a superhero or a rich person. He was a regular man who everyone could relate to. He faced many struggles, like hunger and poverty, but he still made people laugh with his funny actions. Charlie's portrayal of the Tramp touched people's hearts. They saw in him someone who, even in the toughest situations, never lost his sense of humor. The first film with the Tramp was a huge success. People loved him right away. They laughed at his silly mistakes and cheered for him when he won over the bad guys or made a difficult situation better. Charlie Chaplin had created a character that was not just funny, but also full of heart. The Tramp showed that kindness and a positive attitude could make the world a better place, even in the face of hard times. As Charlie Chaplin continued to make films, he didn't just act in them. He also began to direct, write, and even produce his movies. This gave him more control over his work and allowed him to tell the stories he wanted to tell. Charlie wanted to make films that not only entertained people, but also made them think. Through The Tramp, he explored important topics like poverty, love, and social problems, all while making people laugh. Charlie's fame grew quickly, and he became one of the biggest stars in Hollywood. But even as he became more famous, he never forgot his roots. He still remembered the tough times from his childhood, and this made him connect even more with his audience. People loved him because he was real. He didn't pretend to be someone he wasn't, and this honesty made people admire him even more. The Tramp became an international symbol, and Charlie Chaplin's films were seen all over the world. They were loved by people of all ages and backgrounds. Through his silent films, Charlie spoke to everyone. The Tramp showed that no matter where you came from or how difficult life was, you could still find joy and keep going. As Charlie Chaplin's career grew, so did his ideas. He wasn't just focused on making people laugh. He wanted to make films that would change the world. With The Tramp, he showed the power of laughter and love to overcome any obstacle. Through his films, Charlie Chaplin gave the world something priceless, the ability to smile even when times were hard. In the end, Charlie Chaplin's rise to fame was not just about becoming a movie star. It was about creating a character, the Tramp, that would live on in people's hearts forever. His films weren't just for entertainment. They were a way for Charlie to share his love for life, his belief in the good in people and the power of hope. Charlie Chaplin used the Tramp to remind us all that no matter how hard life gets, we can always find a way to smile. Charlie Chaplin's journey through life was not just one of fame and success. It was a journey that left behind a lasting legacy. His films, filled with humor and heart, continue to inspire and entertain people around the world. Charlie Chaplin was more than just a talented actor and filmmaker. He became a symbol of hope, kindness, and resilience, reminding everyone that no matter how hard life gets, laughter is always possible. One of the most important parts of Charlie's legacy is his character, the Tramp. The Tramp was not a superhero or a rich man. He was a regular person, just like many of the people watching his films. He faced poverty, struggle, and many challenges, but he always kept his smile. The Tramp made people laugh with his funny actions and mistakes, but he also made them think. He showed the world that even in the hardest times, a positive attitude could make a difference. Charlie's ability to make people laugh and feel emotions without using words was truly special. He was a master of silent films, using his body language, facial expressions, and movements to tell stories. His comedy was not just about being funny, it was about connecting with people. Charlie used humor to show the beauty of life, even in moments of difficulty. The Tramp, in particular, became a symbol of hope because of his never-give-up attitude. No matter what challenges he faced, he always found a way to move forward with a laugh. Charlie Chaplin's films were not just about making people laugh. They were a reflection of life. In his films, Charlie often explored deep themes like poverty, injustice, and love. He showed the struggles of the common person and used his art to create awareness about social issues. But even with these serious themes, Charlie never lost his sense of humor. He believed that comedy could be a way to bring attention to these issues and make people think while still providing joy. As Charlie's fame grew, so did his impact. He became an international star, and his films were watched by millions of people in many different countries. The Tramp became one of the most loved characters in cinema history. Charlie Chaplin's films crossed language barriers because his humor was universal. Whether you spoke English, French, or Spanish, Charlie's comedy could make you laugh. The emotions in his films, the simple yet powerful way he expressed human feelings, connected with people no matter where they lived. But Charlie's legacy goes beyond his films. He was a true artist. He didn't just act in his movies. He wrote, directed, and even composed the music for many of them. This allowed him to fully express his ideas and beliefs. He believed that film was a way to communicate with the world and share his views on life, love, and society. He wasn't afraid to take risks with his art. In fact, many of his films challenged the way people thought about the world. For example, in his film The Great Dictator, he used comedy to speak out against dictatorships and war, making a powerful statement about freedom and humanity. Charlie Chaplin's impact wasn't just on the film industry. He also influenced generations of filmmakers, actors, and artists. His unique style of comedy and his ability to convey deep emotions through simple actions changed the way people looked at movies. He showed that films didn't have to rely on words to tell a powerful story. His creativity inspired many to think outside the box and explore new ways to tell stories through film. Even though Charlie Chaplin passed away in 1977, his legacy lives on. His films are still watched and loved by people of all ages. The Tramp is still one of the most iconic characters in film history, and Charlie's message of hope, kindness, and laughter continues to inspire people today. His work is timeless because it speaks to the human experience. It reminds us that life can be difficult, but there is always a reason to smile, to keep going, and to find joy, even in hard times. Charlie Chaplin once said, "A day without laughter is a day wasted." His films, filled with humor and heart, have shown us that laughter is one of the most important things in life. It can bring people together, help us heal, and remind us of the beauty in the world. Through his character, the Tramp, and his films, Charlie Chaplin left behind a legacy that will continue to bring joy and inspire people for generations to come. In the end, Charlie Chaplin's life and work remind us that no matter how tough things get, we always have the power to find laughter, to bring joy to others, and to make the world a better place. His legacy is not just in the films he created, but in the way he used his art to touch hearts, challenge minds, and spread hope and laughter to everyone who watched. Charlie Chaplin's life is an inspiring story of resilience, determination, and creativity. Born into poverty, he faced many struggles from a young age, yet he never gave up on his dream of becoming an entertainer. Despite the challenges, he worked tirelessly to improve his skills and eventually became one of the most beloved figures in the history of cinema. His iconic character, the Tramp, taught the world that laughter can bring hope, even in difficult times. The lesson from Chaplin's story is clear. No matter what obstacles we face, we can overcome them with hard work, creativity, and perseverance. Just like Chaplin, we must never give up on our dreams, even when life seems tough. We can always find joy in the little things, and laughter has the power to heal and inspire. Congratulations to all of you for improving your English skills by listening to this story. Keep up the great work. Now, let's end with a fun question. Which lesson from Charlie Chaplin's story do you find most inspiring? A. Never give up on your dreams. B. Success comes easily if you are lucky. Please leave your answer in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and support us with a donation to help keep creating free, quality content. Thank you.